Hey everybody, welcome to the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining. This video is going to be my first brew. Really appreciate y'all joining in. And I want to give a special thanks to my brother for getting me the Northern Brewer kit, 1 gallon from Northern Brewers. He got me that for Christmas and I really appreciate it. He is how this video got started. So thank you, brother. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is sterilization. So Northern Brewer gave a really good instruction kit on everything that you need to do. And the first step is getting the water warm for cleaning and sterilizing everything. So they provide us with this fermenter container. I can't remember the exact name at the moment, but right now I'm throwing in the airlock to sterilize everything at once. They provide you with the great no rinse cleanser, which is super easy to use. All you gotta do is rip it and pour it in. So now that the water is nice and hot, we can get ready to put it in the jar. Now with glass, I'm a bit cautious, so I wanted to temper the glass instead of just pouring in really hot water into it. So that's why I'm using the jug to just get the glass warmed up a bit to not shock it and prevent cracking. Now that I tempered it up, time to pour in the rest of it. Now I will note that Northern Brewers, they recommend doing this step after you have completed your brew, but as we're going to see later on, I'm using that same pot to brew with. So I have to do the cleaning step first and then I can get ready to start the brew. Mixing it up, make sure to get every nook and crannies. Right, now I'm fishing out the airlock, getting the pieces. Whew, man, that was hot. Learn from my mistake, don't do that. That's some hot water. Alright, now I'm taking some of that solution and pouring it in that cup to use for the airlock. And now we don't need this anymore, so we can just go ahead and pour it on out. Alright, now we're getting into the real fun stuff. So now that we have our fermenting jar ready to go, now we can get started on the brew. So right here I got the mesh bag and our grains, and what I'm going to do is put the grains in the mesh bag to keep everything stored, and this will help with the cleaning process later on. And the instructions said to make sure that the grains have room to move around and to get all the goodies out of it. So I got the stove on medium and it said to steep for 20 minutes. Sorry about the focus, I could not get it ready. Alright, now that the 20 minutes are up, now it's time to pull the grains out. And the instruction clearly said, do not squeeze the grain bags. So we're going to fish it out and we're just gonna let it drip until it can drip no more. And once it's all finished dripping, we can just easily toss it into the trash can from the other side, out of the camera frame. Now we're going to turn the stove on high and wait until it becomes a low rumbling boil. And I think we are almost there. We go. There's that low rumbling boil that we're looking for. Oh boy, that's a bit too much. Oh boy, get it out of focus. Come on. Off the eye. Alright, now it's time to put in our golden malt extract. And again, for some reason the camera won't focus, but you saw this in the beginning. So all we gotta simply do is punch a hole and pour that liquid gold. Oh yeah. Now thinking about this later, I really wish I could have taken a spoon and just gotten a little sample taste, because I don't know what gold extract tastes like. Now I'm making sure I get all the goodies out that I can. So I'm putting some of the brew back into the jar to make sure I get every last bit of that gold extract. And once you get it all, just make sure you stir it continuously so that everything gets incorporated. We don't want any scorching on the bottom. That would be the worst thing. Alright, we're going to take it off the eye, and now that we have everything incorporated, and you'll have to play with your oven to make sure that you get a low boil. Alright, now we're going to incorporate our hops into the mix, but first, let's appreciate these hops. They smell really good, very earthy, they almost smelled minty too. And we'll just drop those bad boys right on in. And for this, we're gonna go 45 minutes. All right, so right now, the instructions say that around 15 minutes left in the boil, we're going to add the second hop. So right now, I'm just getting these prepared. And like always, let's appreciate these hops. And these also smelled earthy and minty as well. So for 15 minutes remaining, let's start adding these bad boys. Now why they give us two different types of hop to incorporate and at different intervals of the time, I'm not entirely sure. Alright, it's been 45 minutes and it's time to cool our wort. So I got the ice bath going and it's just gonna cool. Now for this pot, I didn't know if it was gonna crack, so I waited a few minutes to cool down before I threw it in an ice water. Now we're going to introduce the wort into our fermenter. Oh man, that looked delicious. Now I did not pour this properly. I'm sure there are bits of some of the hops that are floating in the brew, but make sure you don't just dump everything in there, otherwise you're gonna be left with something like this. And now for the star of the show, and I believe the yeast they gave us was a American English yeast. I'm not sure what that means, it's just, or no, the beer is gonna be American ale. And now we're going to introduce our workers. Put the lid on with our airlock on. Oh yeah, thumbs up. We did a good job. Now we're going to introduce it to our mead. But there we go. Now we got the airlock perking. And it's looking good. Well, thank you for watching. That was the brew. Thank you, Northern Brewer. It'll be 14 days before the fermentation is complete. And then I'll show another video of me doing the bottling process. After the 2 weeks are done, then I can actually give you my thoughts on how the product actually turned out. I'm looking pretty forward to it. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you giving me the gift for Christmas. It really means a lot. So I want to thank you again. Well, that's all I have, and I'll see you next week. See you.